kill it. I was meant to win. I am down and willing, so I will find a way. It took a minute, now it didn't happen right away. When it get hot in the kitchen, you decide to stay. That's how it winners made. Stick a fork in the hater on my dinner plate. I walk into the fire like it's just a bit of flame. I switch my style up with the money pile up. I'ma get rich with life.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Clydesdale Media Podcast, where we are featuring the athletes of the 2024 CrossFit Games Semifinals. And with me today is Kyra Milligan. What's going on, Kyra?
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. So excited to talk to you for the first, like, we've seen each other, we've chatted.
Yeah.
I just never had you formally on the show being the interviewer. So this will be our first time doing this.
Yeah, and like an actual conversation. Usually we catch up like after an event or something. So this will be nice to get to know you a little more too.
Or like, I think I've seen you at the games and we're running by each other or something like that. But sure. So you've had kind of an interesting year. Last year you chose to go team instead of individual. What did you learn in that process that makes you a better athlete today?
I think the biggest takeaway from doing team was I can hurt a lot more than I thought I could. Because when 3 other people are leaning on you, right, like you have no choice but to like pick up the worm or pick up your pace or something. Versus if it's just you, the chalk seems kind of nice. So going team, it was like, okay, like, no, I'm actually fitter than I thought I was, which was really nice. And just like having 3 other people lean on you, like you push yourself, like I said, a lot harder. And so I got that from the open until after the games with the team experience. And it was great.
So you can push into that pain cave. Are you comfortable there now, or is it still hard to get there?
It's still definitely hard to get there. I would say I was actually telling Kiefer this 2 days ago, or maybe it was yesterday. I don't know. All the days are blending together now. But I was like, up until the semis prep, like I usually don't have a lot of noises coming out of me while training, but there's been like a lot of noises mid-metcons. So we are pushing hard right now.
And you're confident that you're to a place now individually where that's gonna work out.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to bounce around a lot here. So you're coming into this year's semis in the 11th position. It was just announced Friday that the West gets 8 spots. So you're right there on that line that you need to be to make it to the games. Are you confident that you can make that jump up into the top 8?
I think, I mean, I definitely want to say yes, right? Like that's what I'm training for. Like I feel like especially with the workouts, like I can be in the top 8. I feel like you have your select few who you know are going to get through to the games, but I think there's like 5 spots that are up for grabs for the rest of us, and there's going to be some really fit girls there. So I'm excited to do what I can, and I can't control what they can do, but I hope that I will be in that top 8 at the end of the weekend.
So we have a paid comment. Thank you so much, T. Kane. Great interview, Scott. Good luck at semis, Kyra.
Thank you.
You get to go to one of the most iconic locations in CrossFit for semifinals this year.
Yeah.
You're going to be in the tennis stadium. What does that mean to you as growing up a fan of the sport and now competing?
So I actually didn't know what CrossFit was or anything in the Carson era. So like to me, like going back and watching all that, like, yeah, it's really cool. And I am really excited, but I don't know. To me, I think it's just like another semis because I didn't grow up watching CrossFit back then. And I know that it's like such a big era, but I don't know. I'm just excited for us to be out there now and do what we can do out there.
When it's all over, are you going to go back and watch some of the old stuff just to see, to compare what it was like and see what they were going through? Or
I've definitely watched like clips for sure now that I'm really into CrossFit, and I think it's been really cool. But yeah, I started CrossFit in 2017, but I don't think I actually truly watched the games until maybe 3 years ago, because I actually started knowing people who were at the games. So I was like, oh, like this is cool. This is fun. Like when you know someone, you can root for them.
Yeah, I never got to go to Carson. My first year at the games was 2017. The first year it was in Madison, and I was there as a volunteer, lugging equipment on and off the field. So it was a new experience, and I wanted to go, but it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to hit Carson this year. So
You're not?
yeah,
I thought you just got approved.
I did. So I did a reel. They only gave me 2 weeks notice to get airfare, hotel at this late notice.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yes, I can't swing it.
That's true. I guess all of us really booked it like pretty far in advance, hoping that we would move on to the next stage.
Yeah. I wish I could. That's my plea to CrossFit, that if you're known as like a good media guy, that you should have approval every year.
You should have approval every year with a couple months heads up for sure.
Right. And that's all. I just want to be able to make my travel plans timely.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it. And this year they did not allow for that.
That doesn't surprise me.
So, but enough about me. So last year you were doing a lot of travel back and forth.
Yeah.
Because of the requirement that you had to do all the workouts with your team. So what kind of strain did that put on you during the season last year?
It was definitely hard because, I mean, with being with underdogs, dating my coach from down here, he needed to be here, but he also wanted to be there for me, for not just to be my coach, but like also my boyfriend. So for the open, I brought one of our dogs out there with me, so I had something, and I stayed with Angelo for the 3 weeks. And then Kiefer was able to come out and see me for a week, so it was nice. And then for quarters, just went out there a week before, or just went out there 4 quarters. He didn't come. And then for semis, I went out there a week before. But then for games training, we went out, I want to say like 7 weeks before. It was basically like I came home from semis, packed up, and then Kiefer and I ended up driving from Vegas to Cookeville with all of our stuff and the dogs to stay there. So it was a lot for sure, and I don't think I would ever be able to do that again, but it was a really good experience.
So how's that for Kiefer when he has other athletes too? Are most of his remote, or does he have some there in Vegas?
No, he has a lot here in Vegas, and so he talked to them before the season, was like, hey, this is Kyra's plan, like, and we both agreed, like, if anybody said no, he would stay here because it's his job. And they were just like, no, like, your go. He was here for all the important things. He was here for all the open workouts, their quarters, getting them prepped for semis. And so he was just with me in between all that.
Okay. So he's your coach and he's your boyfriend.
Yeah.
It's been done as couples in the past. Shane and Tia, my gym owner, Christy Eramo, and her husband are coach and athlete. What is that dynamic like in and out of the gym?
It's great. It definitely took a little bit of learning for sure at the beginning, where I was like, I didn't treat him like I would treat a different coach, and he didn't treat me like he would treat a different athlete. Like if we got upset at each other, it was a whole thing. But now I would say it's definitely balanced. Like coach athlete there is, I respect him in our relationship, and I respect him as my coach, and it's pretty easy. And I honestly wouldn't want to do it with anybody else. So it's been nice.
Is there a point where you don't take it home, or are you guys cool with talking about your basically your job? Kiefer's in the chat.
I was gonna say, if you know Kiefer at all, you know his brain does not shut off. And so like for date nights, I will ask him specifically, I'm like, you can't bring your phone. We can't talk about CrossFit. Like this is what I want for my date night.
And he's able to do that?
Yeah. If I ask, he'll do it for sure.
So I think this was back to where you were saying you respect him in the gym as your coach. And I think he popped in with liar.
I respect him for the most part. There's definitely some talking back, but that's with all of his athletes because he is just as sassy to us as we are to him.
Okay. Don't want to start anything here. But so you guys started as coach athlete, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we started as like, so I was still under Justin, and he and I became really good friends when he came down here. And then we were traveling a bunch together, again, just as friends. And so we just spent so much time together that it just made sense for him to coach me because Justin was focused on Alex and Ricky getting ready for the games at that time. So it just made sense. And then we started dating.
And was that the year like you and if you don't want to answer, you can say no to any of this. You competed in Madrid, right?
Mhm.
And like you and him traveled to Madrid for all that.
Yeah,
Was
we were
that
dating at that
hard?
time.
Oh, you were dating at that time. Okay.
Yeah.
So it already happened and you got to go to Europe with your boyfriend.
Yep. And then we took a nice little week trip to Paris after.
What was that experience? How cool is it that you take this sport that you're in and you get to do cool things like that?
It's honestly crazy. Like just even thinking about how Rogue switched venues this year and me wanting to go back and do Rogue and I get to go to Scotland, like that would be a dream come true.
Yeah. It seems to be on a lot of people's like wish list for the year.
Yeah.
As I'm talking to athletes, who knew that the move to Scotland was going to be so enticing for so many athletes?
Well, I think Rogue, no matter what, is on everybody's wish list. And like the crazy thing about Rogue is you could literally be the fittest, but if you do one thing wrong, you're not going with all of like the requirements and the measurements and everything. So it's on everybody's wish list, but you can't expect to be there either.
So last year you do team, but you did qualify for Rogue as an individual.
Mhm.
Was that like a quick shot in the arm? Like, okay, we're done with this phase of my career. Now it's back to individual. And it was cool that you got to do it on this big stage.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely gave everything I had for team, but like even at semis and stuff, I was sitting there in the stands cheering for my friends, and I was like, I really want to be out there. Like I just really miss individual, and so I told Keeper, I was like, after the games, like we can take 2 days off, but I want to get back to training for Rogue qualifiers because I went to Rogue the year before to go watch Ricky, and I said I wanted to be out there, and so it was just something that was always in the back of my mind. So he's like, okay, we'll start training, and then whatever happens, happens, and thankfully it worked out for the best.
So I'm going to say something here. We were at semis last year in Orlando. We were out watching teams, and my co-host Jamie was standing beside me. And I said to her at that moment that the most improved athlete I saw all weekend was you.
Oh, thank you.
And that I hope people notice because you're on team and not individual this year, but it may have been like the best move you could have made.
Thank you. I agree too. It like not just fitness wise, I think confidence and then being able to do some of those off-season comps like Rogue and Dubai, like just getting the experience being out on the individual floor, I feel like that's also going to help me at Carson this year. And I'm super excited and nervous, but super excited to see how it all shakes out.
You completely transformed as an athlete before last season.
Yeah,
Like
I think so.
I think there was talk on the internet that you were going to be the weak link on that team, and you were not.
Thank you. That's sad.
I would say it was a team that kind of existed and they knew each other, and you
Yeah.
were coming in, and so it was easy. That was just a lazy analysis, right? But
I mean,
watching
depends what you do. Like the 5K, it was definitely that was my weak moment.
But I would argue at semifinals you carried the team.
I think we all had our own for sure. Like I think it was a very well balanced team, which was cool. Like we all had completely different strengths and weaknesses, and so like where Sam and I would pair up really good on some things, like Angelo and Zoe would pair up really good on things. So I think it was just like it was a really good team for sure. But
And I'm not dogging any of them. It's that you guys are all elite athletes and you all bring something to the table. It was very eye-opening for me.
thank you. I appreciate that.
And so what did you do to close up all those holes? What was the one thing you think you did in that year?
Honestly, just the trust in Kiefer. Like if I questioned him at all, he would give me a good logistic answer where I was like, okay, like I don't think I ever have to question you again of like why we're doing this. Like I know he has my best interest at heart. And I also think being able to train with like some girls in the gym where if you talk to Carson at all, like she's a crazy good gymnast. So being able to do any gymnastic stuff near her helps push me. Being able to do any machines next to Ava helps push me. And so just being surrounded by a good group of people, and we all just want the best for each other. And then with Kiefer by our side, I think that's really been the biggest thing for sure.
You hear that, Kiefer? She said she trusted.
Yeah.
So now, like with Carson and Ava, they're going team this year.
They are.
Are you like a mentor to them in the process of that?
No, I wouldn't say so. Well, I don't know. All I know is like watching them this year, and I think it's just the exact same as last year. Like Carson was a little hesitant on going team, and so Kiefer was like look what happened to Kyra. She went team for a year. Like she really dialed in the experience. She got to push herself, and I think if everybody does team for a year and you're with a really good team, I think you can only grow from it. And so I'm excited to see how they both do at semis, hopefully at the games, and then for their individual off season.
And they're with Mitch and CJ, right?
Yeah.
Who are two of my favorite guys on the planet.
I love that team.
Yeah. I do too. They're my heart favorite going into the season.
Yeah.
So you dial it all in. Anything off the floor that you changed that helped?
Yeah, like definitely my mindset for sure. But like I remember Kiefer would always bring up like, hey, maybe we do like a third session, like whether it's like a little bodybuilding session or a extra zone 2-piece. And I was like, no, like if you have me do that and my world literally revolves around CrossFit, I'm gonna start hating it. And then Chandler would come down a couple times and I would always do like a third session with him. And so I think just being able to be surrounded by good people like that and like seeing how hard Chandler works and like can also make it fun. I think that's where my mindset changed, where it was like, oh, it doesn't just have to be like, I have to go sit alone in my garage and do this.
Yeah, I could never.
That's not fun. Yeah.
I could never be one of those athletes that just goes into a garage by themselves.
Yeah, no. And like, so like I have a full garage gym here. I'll do my first session here. But usually I'll have like Allie Weiss or Carson or my friend Sarah's in there with me. And if none of them can be, like, Kiefer will literally go out there and sit and do work. Just like have a body out there for me.
Yeah, I have a full garage gym, but if I do my workout there for the day, it's 70%.
Oh yeah, it's so hard if you're by yourself.
Right. Yeah. And it's convenient and it's good. And there's days that's where I have to do it.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, the intensity is way lower.
I definitely love it because it's like I said, I'll usually have somebody in there with me. And so being able just to go into the gym 8:15, relax at my house until second session, it's nice.
Yeah. So I have a weird path we're going to go down now.
Okay.
So you have tattoos. I see them on your arm.
Yes.
I had your friend Annika Greer on, and she was talking about how you guys got matching tattoos, and hers are always like metal, and yours are always pretty.
And that's exactly what they are. They're matching, but hers is more punk rock and mine is prettier.
So when you guys do these like matching tattoos, like, do you look for something that you can make like a pretty version of and she can go full metal? Or is it just whatever hits you in the moment?
It was honestly, it was the time with like the semis where she didn't make it because of the video submission and everything. So she was having a hard time. So we're like, let's just go get tattoos. We found one on the internet that we liked and we just got them.
She went to Madrid that same year. Did you guys hang out over there?
Yeah, we hung out a lot.
Yeah.
I think that's actually where we got a lot closer too.
Cool.
Yeah.
Monica's been a friend for a long time, and man, I almost need her to qualify this year.
I want her to qualify so bad. I honestly, yeah.
Yeah.
The East will be really exciting to watch.
Yeah, and I cover her mom in the Masters.
Oh.
And I think she's in a qualifying spot right now.
She is?
Yeah.
Oh, good. I also hung out with her mom in Madrid, so I like her.
So hoping that when they come out tonight, she's still in a qualifying spot.
Oh yeah, it comes out at 6.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, we have a ton of underdogs doing it. So it'll be nice to see, and hopefully all of them make it.
So another friend that I've seen when I was going through your Instagram that you call your hater, and that's Jessie Smith, who I love dearly because she's a Pittsburgher, and that's where I grew up. How did you guys connect?
How did Jessie and I? Oh, so she was still living in Boston at the time, and we were with 2 of the same brands, and so we did a photo shoot together. And I reached out to her. I was like, "Hey, do you want to do this? Like, I'm gonna be in town. Fury's gonna be in town," and we just trained together. And from then on, like, I invited her to Keeper's birthday, and we just became super close after that. And literally love her so much. She's one of the best people that you could ever meet.
When you started this whole CrossFit thing, did you imagine that you'd have friends all over the world?
No, even just like saying that I have like Carrie Pierce's number or like Chandler Smith's number, like that's crazy to me.
Yeah. And you didn't even watch the games until a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you truly didn't get into it till you had friends competing at the games.
Yeah. Like I would watch the games or like regionals, like basically as like background during work, but literally until like you have people there that you can actually cheer for, I think that made it a lot more fun. Where I was like, oh no, like I want to go watch them succeed. Because you actually have somebody to root for, just versus like the idea of who somebody is. You actually know them, so I think it makes it a lot cooler.
So when you went last year on a team, how much time did you get to watch any of the individual stuff?
None.
None.
It was sad. Only like when you were in the back ready to go and it was on the TV.
Wow. They pull and push you all over that place.
Yeah.
It's crazy. What did you learn at the games that will help you in big competitions? Because like your time isn't your own during that week.
Yeah.
What did you learn that week? And is it something that you needed to learn before you go as an individual?
No, I think one of the biggest things that I've learned just bit by bit through every single competition is like it's okay to say no during the week and be selfish. Like if I have friends that like want to come over and say hi, or like my family wants to come over and I feel bad saying no, now I don't. I'm like, no, like I'll see you guys in 3 days. Like I'm just gonna go home, I'm gonna relax, I'm gonna recover so I can go back and do this again in an hour.
Yeah. When you went with Mayhem last year, I know how Mayhem and Angela work. They wanted to win.
Yeah.
So what happens at the end of the weekend when that goal isn't met? Can you still enjoy the weekend itself?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's important to enjoy the weekend. Like at the end of the day, right? Like one person's gonna win. And I think you need to reflect on each event and, you know, decide from there, like how you want to react and take the good and just roll with that and then take the bad and learn from it in your training. But I think at the end of the weekend, like, and I think I've heard them talk about this too, like last season, we've all learned a ton and I think they've changed their programming and I'm excited to see how they do at semis this year. But I know that I've learned a ton from the games, and Kiefer and I have changed my programming a little bit, and it's excited to see how I do.
So when you spend that much time with a group of people, when it's all over, are you like, thank God, I just need to get away from these people for a while?
No, because I think it was like we all had basically our own hotel rooms, so like you could just go and get space away from each other too. But also, if you like truly care and respect people, like you don't mind hanging out with them all the time too.
Yeah. And those 7 weeks leading up to the games, I mean, a lot of, and none from Mayhem, but there was a lot of buzz about conflict on teams leading up to the games.
Yep.
And I didn't hear anything out of the Mayhem camp.
No, I mean, we all worked really, really well together. And, I wish we were standing on top of the podium last year, but that's just not how it worked out. But I think throughout the entire season, we supported each other.
The only thing I ever heard from Mayhem was that your range of motion is so small because of your stature. I think that because of your stature, that some of the guys were worried about doing certain movements with you because of how fast you could do them.
Honestly, it was actually the opposite because yes, my range of motion is like short, but I feel like I bottom out on everything. But Zoe, she's longer, but she goes just right below parallel and she's so fast that Angelo would hate synchroing with her because he bottoms out too. So like he takes forever, but she's just so fast. So I don't think it was ever an issue, but we'd always have to like tell Zoe to slow down a little bit. She moves so fast.
Okay. I think like, and it was before the games, like Angelo was saying, like the one thing he was worried about is how fast you were at like squatting.
Oh
and
yeah.
Could he keep up?
But that's the thing is like for team, I would much rather, and I've told everybody this, like I would much rather synchro off of the person instead of them synchroing off of me. Because I hate being the one that's like leading, 'cause just in case something goes bad. I'm like, no, like I just want to follow you, and I'll stop when you stop.
So how do you shift that mindset now that you're going into this season and it's all on you?
I'm excited. I'm so excited. I think, 2 of these workouts are going to be a really good test to see how much I've improved. And then I'm really, really excited for the other ones.
The theme of the interviews today has been that the workouts that have come out are very much, they have a yin and a yang.
Yeah.
Like if you're a gymnast, you've got an element, and if you want heavy, you've got an element. So like first workout, 800-meter runs are good for some people, not for others. But then the moderately heavy barbell, good for some, not for others. And usually the opposite people.
Yeah, but also like I think at this stage, 125 isn't too heavy for anyone, especially for power clean and jerks.
How many of them?
50. But
Okay.
the run is going to take a lot longer than the 10 clean and jerks each round.
It just seems like all the elements have like that little bit of mix.
Yeah.
Like handstand walk but a machine.
Yeah. But it's also for that one, it's just how fast are you on your hands kind of thing. But then the snatch is how strong are you and how fast can you move it?
Yeah. Saxon said earlier today that Sunday, the last 3 events are all execution events.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
It's not really about your fit. The first 2 days are fitness. The last 3 events are execution.
The first 2 days are going to hurt so bad.
Yeah. And I'm really excited because like I watched that snatch ladder at West Coast Classic when it was the first event of the weekend in 2021. Yeah. Now it's the last event of the weekend. Not the last, but next to last. It's going to be really different after all those front squats, all those clean and jerks, all that, like, and then do that workout.
Yeah. Yes, it will, for sure. That's actually because West Coast was before my semis. And so that's actually the first competition that I truly watched. And so I was really excited when the snatch ladder was released because I really wanted to be out there on the West Coast floor, minus the run event, but every other event out there looked so much fun.
It was so hot that weekend.
It looked it for sure. But like Kiefer and I were talking about for this season, like Sunday, you're only halfway through at that point. Like you still have 3 of the 6 events. So anything can change at that point too. So yeah, execution is going to be very, very important.
Yeah, I think Saxon put it like you want to get yourself in a good position after 2 days and then just execute.
Mm-hmm. And then the final will be fun. Some people are going to have to take some risks and hopefully it plays out.
Yeah. Finishing with a lunge like CrossFit likes to do.
Oh, we love it.
So with the run, it's not on a machine this year. It's actually on the ground.
Yeah.
Do you like that better or worse?
I mean, everybody's going to be in the same boat, so it'll be nice to be able to see where other people are. So like, especially on the final 800, right? You won't know if somebody's 5 meters or 100 ahead of you. So this will be nice so you can if you have that little extra, you can chase them down. I also think it's going to be a lot more fun for spectators to watch.
I completely agree. Sorry, I have a frog in my throat. I've been
No,
talking
you're
too
good.
much today.
Because I remember, like, I did not go to the West Coast semis last year for individual because I just got home. And I was watching the first event. And I was like, I don't know where anybody's at on this run. And you were on the runner for a while.
Yeah, and they used the runner twice, and you
Yeah.
didn't know where anybody was. So,
Yeah.
As Kiefer says, we love all running.
We love all running.
And that's where I saw a huge improvement of you last year. Like on those air runners in the East, you were killing it.
I like a 400 for sure. That was nice.
800 different story? Or we love all running?
We love all running.
Okay. That's the coach dancer. Yeah, I as a spectator, I would rather see you running on the ground and be able to see where everybody is than to watch a thing tick up a scorecard.
Yeah.
Too bad they're not airing it on stream.
I know. I'm sure, I mean, there's going to be somebody out there who's going to air it, which is nice. If we're going to miss one, that's not the worst one to miss for us. Team, it's a little bit more sad because they have 3 events on the first day, and people will want to watch that.
I know. That's a mess.
Yeah.
But we talked about at the top of the show. Now we're here again with all of those decisions. But we know that it's a farmer carry lunge. Boz revealed that last week. But he also is being very clear about what the handstand walk is.
Yeah.
Do you want elements thrown in there?
Selfishly, yeah, I would like elements because then it's not just who's fast on their hands. Like, because if there's elements on there, the other people might slow down a little bit or trip up a little bit to give the non-gymnasts a fighting chance on that event. But it is what it is, and we'll know this week.
How good are your gymnastics skills getting?
My gymnastics has always been pretty good. I would say, like I said at the beginning, the handstand walk is one of the ones where I'm really excited to see how far I've improved. But other than handstand walks, I would say that gymnastics is my favorite thing to do.
Okay. Well, in team last year, you had to do that buy-in with the long handstand walk.
Oh, yeah, for the games. Yep.
Yep. And you didn't seem to have a problem with that.
Well, so how it was, like, you had to go up in a conga line, and if somebody came down in front of you, the people behind you had to go back. And so I was the very last one because I was the least confident. And Zoe had thought she crossed the line, but I guess she didn't. And so I crossed the line, and he sent both of us back. So Zoe and I had to do 3 times of it. And the very last time, you saw my hands, like, shaking. Like, you could literally, I remember being on my hands, and you hear the crowd go, like, start making the sounds because I'm, like, walking backwards now and, like, trying to lean. But that was actually a really good thing for me to be like, okay, I can do that much, like that many handstand walks unbroken. And besides the last 5 feet, it felt pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. It was hard to watch in the stadium because there were so many people on the floor at one time.
Yeah.
And there were people failing left and right. And it was really hard to figure out who was where.
Yeah.
But I remember seeing you guys advance on, so I know that you had done pretty well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember because it was us and another team. We were the only ones for the final heat who had that mess up. And then I remember when we finally got to the worm, we were moving it faster than anyone else. So it would have been really cool to be able just to, like, not have to do that last handstand walk and kind of see where we would have finished at that point. But one thing I really hope that the teams get this year is that earthworm, because I did not enjoy it at all, and I want to see if other people like it.
I enjoyed every bit of it. As long as I didn't have to touch it, it was fun to watch.
See, that's why I want it this year, because I'm not going team, and I want my friends to experience it and have fun with it.
Yeah, it needs to come back. It needs to be a permanent every year at the games until they figure it out.
It was so hard, especially after those 300 feet of handstand walk and your shoulders were just done.
The amount of carnage that thing dealt out.
It
People,
was a great final, that's for sure.
oh my gosh. It was so good, so good. So when do you head to Carson?
We leave next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday.
Yep.
Now for you, is that drivable or?
Yeah. So we're gonna drive up Wednesday, and it's a 4.5 hour drive, I believe.
Oh, that's nothing.
Yeah, no, it's nice. I'll be bringing my coffee maker, my air fryer. I got everything planned out to make it feel like home.
And do you do hotel or Airbnb?
I'm doing a hotel. Yeah, because there was one. My dad owns a couple hotels, and so I get some good deals on it, which is really nice. So it can help save me a little bit of money out there. And it's only 15 minutes away, which will be really convenient.
I needed to call your dad when I got the late notice. So, and then when you get there, is it just you and Kiefer in one room? So you have like your me time, and when the competition's not going on, to kind of just reset, recalibrate, do all that stuff.
I'm sure I will not see Kiefer until dinner, probably, or when I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
Because I'll probably have the car so I can go back and forth for the venue. But besides me, he has Kendall Gilmore there, who's also in the elite indie, and then he has his team. So, and I'm sure he'll be out there watching like Brandon Luckett and all of his other friends. So it'll probably just see him at breakfast and dinner. That's it.
Is that good for you to have that like alone time to just reset?
Oh yeah, I don't mind it at all because then I can just go home and I can turn the lights off, put on some Gilmore Girls, and relax.
That's tradition, Gilmore Girls?
It's what I'm watching right now, or rewatching right now.
Okay. All right, cool. Yeah, my thing's Friends. I'm on like the 16th run of it.
That's okay. That's what I watched last year at Semis.
Yeah. That's when I can't sleep at night and I need something that's just brain dead, and I've seen it so many times I can fall asleep to it.
Yeah. I love Friends. Have you watched New Girl?
I've watched a lot of it when my daughter lived here. Like she was going through it, so I watched a lot of episodes with her, but probably not all.
Oh, you need to watch it all. That's our next one.
Okay. I may go back. The stuff I saw was really funny, and I was able to keep up with the characters. So yeah. I liked it a lot. I just, my daughter, when she binges, like I could not keep up with her.
Yeah, that's fair.
I have to have a life.
I like to spend my time watching a lot of TV, sitting on my couch and recovering.
Yeah. Yeah. She did that with The Office. She did that with New Girl, Parks and Rec. I don't know. And I've seen a lot of all of those episodes, but none of them I've seen them all.
Yeah. Now's the time.
Yeah. I'm so addicted to Welcome to Wrexham.
I don't know what that is.
So it's the show about Ryan Reynolds bought a soccer team and is trying to get them promoted back up into the leagues in Europe. And it's how he buys the team, tries to put money into it, loses a lot of money, tries to make them better. It's really good. It's really funny.
I'll have to watch it.
Yeah, it's really, really good. And if you like watching, like I'm sure Kiefer would love it because he's a sports guy, but if you like watching sports, every TV season is like watching a season of sports.
I'm sure he would love it then.
Yeah. It's really good. I got my co-host hooked on it. Yeah, we're all about that. But well, I am so excited for you this year to come back and see what you can do, and basically to prove me right that last year I said you were the most improved, and we can see it on the floor this year. Because I like to be right.
Thank you. I hope you're right.
We wish you well, and can't wait to see you. Good luck at Carson, and we're going to be reaching out to people like during the weekend, covering it from here because we can't be there. So I'm going to send you a DM or something.
Perfect.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Kyra.
Thank you so much.
And thank you to everybody in the chat, especially Kiefer, for keeping it real. And with that, we'll see everybody next time on Clydesdale Media Podcast. Bye, guys.